Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed at Hipmix 88.9 WEIU.
Welcome to the Tales of Music and Film. My name is DJ Apollo, and today we are reviewing yet another movie. Well, difference is this time it's not exactly like an intellectual kind of film. Like, it doesn't like
it 100% is intellectual.
Well, I mean, in a way, maybe, but
in a mystery kind of way.
Exactly.
Yes. Mystery is intellectual.
Yeah, like you need to have a brain to understand how a mystery film works.
You need to have a brain to understand how some satirical films work these days.
And that's what this film is, both good mystery and satire.
Yep.
And as you are aware, I am not doing this by myself. I got the
He no longer does this podcast alone, really.
Well, I mean, like, once in a while when I do music, but like, I invite Preston on for almost all the music sessions now as well. So it's like, no, I don't do this by myself anymore. Like,
yeah, and you now bring us on for almost every film episode.
Yeah, I know.
We're almost like co-hosts at this point.
We basically are.
At this point, I might as well credit you guys. Like, the opening sequence, when it was just my name, I might as well just add you guys to the list. Like,
well, who knows?
I'm character A, Aidan is B character, and then Preston.
Why am I
character.
B character?
I want to
be
B character.
Yeah, you're C. I'm A.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just like your name. It's Aidan, Christian, and then okay.
And then Preston, the extra, needs B.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's how this works.
All right, fair enough. So today we are going over a movie by the name of Knives Out, a film that I just watched for the very first time a couple weeks ago because these two convinced me to check it out. It's the same plot. It's the same kind of plot how these guys convinced me to watch Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, we strapped him to a chair and made him watch it.
And if you haven't listened to the Jojo Rabbit episode, full disclosure, it may be kind of hard to listen to because it's sad because it refers to World War II, but it's a phenomenal episode. So if that doesn't bother you, I highly recommend you watch it.
It's one of probably our
shameless
proudest,
plug.
It's probably one of our proudest episodes.
Yeah, even with it being as dark as it was, but it was, in my opinion, I think one of the best talks I think the three of us ever had talking about a movie. Because like we went to a level with that one that I was not expecting, and it worked. I think it worked.
Yeah. Well, we're not here to review our own episode. We're here to review a nice, good movie.
This is gonna be a nice little laid back, chill kind of thriller, mystery thriller, if you will. And I'm pretty excited about this. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. I liked it a lot. It was kind of cool because like the only Rian Johnson movie that I've seen besides this was Last Jedi, which I liked, and I thought it was a good movie.
You know, I want to just real quick just talk about Last Jedi. I want to make my piece on this one. Rian Johnson was not at fault for any failure that came from The Last Jedi. Like, were there some narrative choices that I was not a fan of? Yes. And that's for a future episode on this or our other podcast.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem with that was Disney just letting both JJ and Ryan go their own way without having a structure to follow. So Ryan took it the way he wanted to, but it didn't match with what JJ Abrams wanted. So at a base level, it is a good film. Does it have weak points? Yes. But it is not the terrible movie it's remembered as.
And frankly, what is a Star Wars movie without its weak points? Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars if there wasn't something to improve on.
The closest thing that had to perfection were the final seasons of the Clone Wars. And even then, they had faults of their own.
Yeah. Like, Star Wars has never really been a masterpiece.
And also, it's mainly just, it's a big world, and there are so many stories you can tell, and not every story is going to land.
Yeah, but that's what makes Star Wars special. It's not perfect, and that's okay. We love it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
but back to Knives Out.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, we're gushing a bit here.
Yeah, so that little side quest there, but yeah, I thought Rian Johnson did an amazing job with this picture.
Oh yeah, like I've
really
seen
good.
a bunch of his other director stuff, like. Another film that I've seen of his that I also think we should watch one time was called Looper.
Oh, that's one I'd love to check out with Bruce Willis
and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the premise for that one. I've seen bits and pieces, but I would love to check that one out as well.
Yeah, that's some for after the holidays.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But guys, I'll ask, what was your favorite actor in this film? Because all of the acting in this film is
Daniel
top-notch.
Craig and Chris Evans all the way.
Okay,
Actually, the main three. So Ana de Armas, Daniel Craig, and Chris Evans. They all take the cake for me.
Yeah,
I can never
like-
pick between those three.
For me, honestly, though, there's actually 4. The 3 that you just named off, along with Jamie Lee Curtis, because, like,
It's Jamie Lee Curtis.
well, I mean, here's the thing, though. I'm so used to just seeing her as Laurie Strode, but, like, never once have I ever hated her playing a character. I never hated a character before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so are you saying like she performed the character that they had written so well?
Yeah, that I
you
did-
were
that I
able to
dislike-
see past your love of Jamie Lee Curtis and see this character. that you did
Exactly. Like, her character, dude, the whole movie, I was annoyed with her, along with the other family members.
Yeah,
like,
and, like-
I'm just like, dude, these people suck. Like,
yeah, no, like that's just
like,
the thing. Like
ugh.
I love like just about the entire casting of this film.
yeah,
So
dude,
just some
they
other
all
names
fit
that we have
perfectly.
here. We have I believe is that Michael or Michelle or Mitchell?
Which character you talking about?
Michael.
Michael Sherman. Yeah, it's just like I went to a friend with high school who had a name like that, and it was Mitch. But so Michael
Shannon.
Tony
Collette.
Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis, Rika Lionheart, Christopher Plummer, Kay Lanford, Don Johnson, Frank Oz. Just it is an all-star cast.
Yeah, and there are a lot of characters, and normally with movies with a lot of characters, their writing suffers. I don't think it happened with this
yeah,
one.
because the biggest thing is like it's either they are either given too much that they feel pointless, or they're given too little that you don't care. They strike a perfect balance with these characters.
Anyway, my favorite actor, I should say,
Go.
Christopher Plummer did a phenomenal job as Harlan Thrombey. And if you haven't seen the movie, audience, he is the victim, the one that the investigation is about.
Okay, so let's real quick give a quick summary of this. So
Yeah, so the overall
Chris, you
plot.
give summary.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I was gonna
Guys,
say,
should we
like-
even give a summary of this one?
Well,
It is a
we'll-
mystery after all.
Well, we won't give away the mystery at the end. We'll give
No,
away,
no.
Well, here's the thing. This is a spoiler episode. We're going in depth with these things. So we're gonna give a few minutes into this, then we're gonna put the spoiler warning up.
Yeah,
So,
so
first, the general plot.
So the general plot for this is that this family who's rich, it's all due to the work and success of their father, played by
Donner.
Christopher Plummer, who his character's name is, what was his name again?
Harlan Thrombey.
Yeah. And they're having a party at the mansion, and he is found dead not long after, and no one knows who did it.
It all appears suicide, but then the opening of the film, Daniel Craig's character playing the private detective Benoit Blanc.
and someone gave him cash to investigate the case, but he has no clue who hired him.
Yep, and so now this leads us to believe there is foul play. There is more to this death than just an apparent suicide. And then the investigation begins.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that, no spoilers for right now until we get to spoiler territory.
Until we get to spoiler territory. But the mystery, like, here's the thing, though. It's like this movie did an amazing job with, like, keeping, like, the suspense up.
Yeah.
Because every time, just like, okay, I think it's that person. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Is it this person? No. You know what I mean?
Like,
Just
it's the biggest thing that a mystery should do. It gives every single character motive and just gives them a motive and a reason to do it. And that is very, very important, because if you make it clear who the killer is by giving only, like, either making them just as willing to go a distance if they learn something, you really take away the mystery. It's just like, because a true mystery, in my opinion, you give just enough pieces for your audience to come close to getting the mystery right. You don't want to just give them the answer, but enough pieces that they could come to the answer themselves, but you don't want to give it. It's a very delicate balance.
Yeah, 100%. And I think all the actors did an amazing job of, like, making you think that it could be one of them, and you can't really pick out who it is exactly, because every one of them, like, has these horrible qualities about them. So it's like it could be anyone.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of, like, The Thing a little bit, where it's like this organism could be any one of these 12 characters, and there's no way to tell because it forms, that person perfectly. So it's like that could be like an interpretation for this. The killer fits in with all these people, so you're like, who's the killer?
Yeah.
Like Preston, did you think the movie did a good job of keeping the mystery going?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because just when you think you're starting to break ground, something drastic happens. Keeps you on your toes, and that's a good mystery.
Yeah, exactly. And
honestly, I think that's just about all we can talk about without going into spoiler territory.
yeah, I think we've covered about as much as we can about spoilers. But the next part I'd like to go to, this is the most common question I always like to ask my fellow friends when they're on the show. Favorite scene, gentlemen?
I think it was when they reveal the truth as to what happened with Harlan, like when we see Ana de Armas' perspective of what happened that night. So
Yeah, exactly.
the very unique thing about this film is how it handles the mystery. So we learn from after we have the interview with the rest of the family members about how they say the night went, we go to Ana de Armas' character, which is, her name's Marta Cabrera. And Marta was Harlan's personal nurse, and they became really close and became really good friends. So what happened the night was after the party, they go up and Harlan wants to play a little game of Go. Then comes the point when she gives Harlan his meds that he needs. And what includes is just some mild pain medication, and she also occasionally just gives him like a small little thing of morphine, just like something to take the edge off and whatnot. But what she realizes when she's prepping the morphine, she mixed up the meds and she accidentally gave him 100 milligrams of morphine, and that will basically stop your heart.
And
minutes.
Yeah, like you have didn't you say it's like you have like 4 minutes tops or something?
10 minutes. You have about 10 minutes until there's and you have to give unless you give like a certain shot, the one that could help counteract the morphine, but it's not in her bag. So all points to is that Harlan is about to die, and Harlan was just thinking, like, we could just say it's like March, like, it's just gonna be an accident. Yeah, my life will be ruined, but we got to try something. But Harlan, because he cares about Marta, he wants to protect her, because this isn't a big plot point or whatnot. Her mother is an undocumented immigrant, and so Harlan doesn't want the police to investigate Marta and her mother just to basically not ruin their lives. So he sets up an intricate plan to hide the time of death, and then instead of letting the morphine kill them, he committed suicide.
And he also gives her an alibi to cover the tracks.
He set up a plot line to give her an alibi so that she wouldn't be thought that she wouldn't be the prime suspect. But the reason why I like that scene is because it flips the mystery right on its head. So, like, we know what happened. So the question is, the plot, the rest of the film is about will Marta get away with this? Because we're shown throughout she is a good character. Like, she was traumatized by what happened as she carried this intense guilt that she killed Harlan. So you wonder, like, is she going to get away with it? Is she not going to get away with it? What's going to happen?
And you kind of want her to get away with it.
Yeah, like, it's just like she like, compared to the rest of Harlan's family, she was genuinely a good person, and she cared about Harlan for who he was, where most of the family, while they claimed they loved him, they wanted the money.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like the other thing I think this movie did a good job of showing. They're not all of them are bad. They're like, he was a good one. Like,
Yeah.
He worked hard and earned all of his money, but unfortunately his kids and grandchildren all kind of just kind of inherited to him.
He even acknowledges his faults, like when we have the backstory when Marta's revealing, like, so when he individually cuts off his family members, for one, there was grandson Ramsey, he just cuts out of it all. Husband of his daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, her husband, played by Don Johnson, he reveals that he's having an affair with her, and he said he's going to expose it. His son, played by Michael Shannon, he says, you're no longer going to be adapting my books because I've basically just been keeping you away from doing your own creativity. Like, he does this all to, in his way, help the kids, his family, because he realized they rely too heavily on him and that they're not really making things for themselves.
And before
that's
we
very
go any
respectable.
further into talking about the characters,
Yeah.
there's one character the three of us certainly have in mind, and I don't think if we're not going to give away the big
We're
mystery,
giving it away.
okay, then we need to warn people. Seriously, if you haven't seen this,
Please stop
turn
listening
Yeah,
right
stop-
now.
yeah, stop
Go
the-
watch the movie, then come back.
Yeah, like
This off because there's a character we're about to talk about, and like it's so well done that you're going to be very disappointed if you don't watch this movie before you listen to this.
yes, I'd recommend, pause it right now, write down the time you are in this recording, and then come back once you watch it. 'Cause it's very amazing the way this movie reveals certain plot points.
All right, Preston,
So
take it
here
away.
we go. Preston, go.
Okay, so I'm going to give the audience one more second. Okay, by this point, it's their fault.
Don't blame the audience, man. That's how we lose viewers.
Man, I feel like this is 2015, right? Talking about Force Awakens, like right after it releases. Right at the-
Or when Endgame came out, where it was the big thing of no Endgame spoilers.
Yes.
Anyway,
Hey guys,
we're going to talk
Han
about.
dies. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
That was entirely unnecessary, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, Ransom Drysdale.
Played by the amazing
Chris
Evans.
He is such a phenomenal character because, first of all, he's basically the murderer.
Yes.
Well, technically, there isn't a murderer,
Well,
as
there
we
is a bit.
explained.
So let's explain. So
It's
yeah,
very,
you
very
explain-
complex.
Yeah, well,
but
explain
before
just
we
the
get into
gist.
that,
Yeah, go ahead.
he is portrayed as such a likable character because
Just a bit of
they
an
make him-
entitled ass, but still somewhat likable.
That's part of what we like about him because he is the guy where he makes his story come across as he's glad that the family is losing the money to Marta. Because in his will, he gives all the money to Marta, and he's like, you know what? I accept that I'm going to have to be on my own and screw the rest of my family.
Yeah, like the will reading scene is like one of my favorite parts in this whole
he
thing.
cracks up.
Like,
Okay,
he, like,
yeah,
he
let's
just
go-
walks
no,
out
let's-
the room just laughing his butt off at this.
Like, because here's the thing, but also you got to realize before that is he didn't know about the mix-up. So let's go into how Ramsey played his hand in the death of Harlan.
Yeah.
So during the party before Harlan's death, Harlan and Ramsey had a discussion, and it's kind of established that these two love to argue and kind of spar with each other. But this was something different. It's later revealed that Harlan told Ramsey that he changed the will, that the family is getting none of his money or his property, his estate, nothing, and he's going to give it all to Marta. And Ramsey was furious, and he left. Then he just thinks, you know what, I can still get my money by using what's called the Slayer Clause, which is if the person in a will had anything to do with the victim's death, even accidentally, they lose rights to they lose anything they were going to be given in the will, and it goes out to the next of kin. So he snuck back into the house, found Marta's medical bag, and he switched the labels on Marta's meds, and then took the special vial that would counteract the morphine overdose, and he expected that would be the way Harlan would die. But he didn't But then after the will reading, Marta tells him the truth as to what happened, and he realizes that Marta accidentally switched the back, so she actually gave the correct dosage, and Harlan wouldn't have died.
Also, he's the one that hired Benoit Blanc.
Yeah, because he wanted to make sure that after he realized that Harlan died of suicide,
And gave all the money in the will and everything he owned to
he
Marta.
wanted to make sure there was a hint of foul play, so he wanted to have an investigator, so he anonymously sends the information to Daniel Craig's character, Benoit Blanc, and then starts the whole mystery, and then we go to the end.
He's banking on Marta to get blamed for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing. Like, it's so well, like, that's the thing a great mystery is. It is so well fleshed out. And it is absolutely brilliant how detailed it is, and every piece of it makes sense.
Yeah,
the lengths he goes to, like, I mean, we should talk about the autopsy report and what he does to cover that up.
Yes. So, Chris, you want to take a turn at this?
Oh no, it's fine. Just for me, it's like when the whole thing was pieced together on what happened, I was just like, "What?"
Like,
you know, I was just like,
all
dude.
the pieces are falling into place. So, what Preston is talking about with the autopsy report. So after Ramsey and Marta talk, and he learns that Marta accidentally switched them correctly, so it would never have shown that he had any accidental drugs in his systems. So Harlan 100% died of suicide. So Ramsey needed to frame it up and get Marta to confess, or at least frame her for another crime. So he goes to the department that like handles all the forensic investigations and whatnot. He firebombs it to destroy the evidence. Then another house servant named Fran, she had been suspicious of Ramsey having something to do with Harlan's death, and she blackmailed him, saying she had a copy of the autopsy report. And he goes and then kills her. Well, at least gives her a morphine overdose to give it a bit of time. Then says Marta there to find her, and then make it seem like Marta killed Fran. And it's like, I can't even go further into this because it's so well thought out, and just like you have to watch it to really understand just the impact of this scene.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, and she didn't fall for any of his tricks. Like, she helped that woman out and called the ambulance and everything.
Here's the thing that, like, at least with that, she 100% fell for it. Like, she did not have any belief that Ramsey was guilty. It's mainly just because, so it's actually a fun character trait that's very fun to play with. So Marta's character physically cannot lie, and it's not like it's not like she's giving truth serum or whatnot. But anytime she lies, she vomits. It's funny, but they still weave that character trait into the plot. So a big thing is, like, she doesn't believe in lying. She hates it. And so that's why she's very easy to trust people and whatnot, because she is a naturally good person and believes everyone should be that good. So that's just a little detail of that I really love.
Yeah, and the fact that it came back into play at the very end of the movie where she becomes victorious when she lies about... am I okay to talk about the ending?
Oh, yeah, no, we're in there, yeah.
Okay, so the ending of this movie is that Daniel Craig's character are having a conversation in the back room because, like, wasn't it, like, right before this... She was going to tell the family she's sorry.
Yeah,
she was going to give them money.
That she did the accidental mix-up.
And this was my favorite scene of the movie coming up right here.
Yeah, like Craig just walks in there and tells them, like, listen.
Yeah, so in the background, they found the second autopsy report that Fran had, and it reveals the truth that Harlan didn't have an overdose of drugs in his system. So then, Chris, what does he do?
Like, Craig walks in there and tells that whole family. Now, this, I'm telling you right now, this scene was so satisfying. I'll give you some context here. I was jumping up and down so much.
It was absolutely hilarious.
He was pounding on the floor. I feel
really
bad
broke
for
my
the neighbors.
chair, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I feel
was
sorry for
freaking-
the neighbors below us. They were
Yeah,
probably
like,
pissed at
I
him.
was freaking out. I had to calm myself down. Like, dude, this scene was so satisfying to watch. I wanted to yell just yes at the top of my lungs. Anyway, he walks in there and tells my family, listen, you guys are not getting a dime. You have all treated this amazing woman like crap from the get-go. She is not giving you the money. She's keeping it all for herself, and that's that. And they just walk out.
And she's like, what?
What the?
I was about to confess to a murder.
The best thing is the elder grandmother, the great-great-grandmother of everyone, she just lets out a hilarious chuckle as she's like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
because
that
she
was amazing.
knew the whole time. And the movie frames it in a way where it seems like she's accusing Marta of being the murderer, because off screen she has her discussion with Benoit Blanc, but then at the very end you find out that she said Ransom's name, Ransom Drysdale, because she'd seen him do the same thing she saw Marta do like a couple minutes later on that night.
Like, it's kind of just like she's still old, but like she still has value into the investigation.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's the other character. It's her and Harlan really are the only people in that family that are redeemable.
I want to jump into just talking about the family itself. So cut out Marta, Harlan, and Ramsey.
Yeah.
I want to talk about everyone else. Oh my God. I just love the way they are portrayed, because not only are they all just terrible people who want to go after the money, they don't want to lose their money and their precious wealth and whatnot, but the funniest thing is how they react and handle things. Like one of the interesting details was the not so subtle but slightly subtle racism they have towards Marta. Because
we won't go into what they say, but
like it's not too bad. Like it's basically just none of them knows the country she's from. I believe they say a lot of like more exotic countries. Things like Guam was on there and a couple other countries.
It's literally Mexico.
Yeah, they established she's just from Mexico. It's not like she's from anywhere exotic. She's from a very normal place. Like,
exactly.
But none of these people know, because it almost feels like it's a stigma. It's just like, oh, she's from a very exotic place.
And they don't actually care about her at all.
Yeah, they don't care. Like it's kind of just like, oh yeah, you're one of the family. We care for you. When we get this money, we're gonna take care of you. Then once it's announced that Marta, during the reading of the will, that Marta's getting everything, they accuse her of horrible things, like she was sleeping with Harlan. They plotted this, that she only took this job because she wanted Harlan's money and whatnot. It's just like
but then still try to say, oh, I'm really sorry, please give us the money.
Yeah,
which just makes them even more despicable.
Yeah, they just it's just how much they want. And then there's the feuding within the family. Like, probably the funniest thing is here's the thing, I outright laugh at. So two of the other characters is the other grandchildren outside of Ramsey, and that was Catherine Langford, played by Meg Thrombey, and Jaden Martell, and then Jacob Thrombey, played by Jaden Martell. These two characters are, like, they don't have much screen time, but they have one of my favorite interactions. Before the will reading, they're talking about things that happened before Ramsey left and things that led up to Harlan's death. And so, like, they don't even say anything about what these kids believe, but, like, Meg's character gets called a liberal snowflake, and then she calls Jacob an alt-right troll. Mm-hmm. And the thing I find funny
she
about
calls him a Nazi.
Yes, they call this kid a Nazi, and the funniest thing
and he is.
Well, no, we don't even know what he's talking about.
No, he confirms it, though.
Like, no, I don't even remember that, but my favorite thing about it is just, like, they're used as complete buzzwords, and that's what it just shows how unintelligent these people are. They just use buzzwords, and they just make general things it's kind of like a thing where you show you know much, but you reveal you know so little, and you look like an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. It's the classic thing of, like, people using fancy wording to sound smart, but in reality, they are extremely dumb.
Yeah, no, I don't think they even say exactly what the kids were looking at or what they were doing that gives them a reason to call them names like this. But I'm just like, for me, it just further shows just how terrible of a family this is.
Yeah, they're just. I said this during the movie. If these people were my family, I would leave the country. I'd be living in Canada or something.
Oh, like, God, it's that bad? You're moving to Canada?
I honestly, I would. Like, these people are like. Toxic doesn't even define these people. Like, they're just terrible human beings. And dude, the satisfaction at the end, right? So back to that plot point you're talking, or you're about the husband having an affair with Jamie Lee.
Oh yes.
The reveal. So right after the grandfather kills himself, he reveals there's a flashback when he's having a meeting with the guy who's having an affair.
Yeah, Don Johnson's character, Richard.
He shows them that he has the evidence, that he has it all written down in a letter that he's going to give Jamie Lee Curtis's character. He opens the desk after the death, and it's all blank. So he's like, "You son of a gun, you tricked me." Then at the end of the movie, when everybody's leaving the house, Jamie Lee Curtis finds the letter and sticks a lighter underneath
Yeah,
it
it just
because
reveals that she's like, one thing they established early in the movie is that like Harlan had a little game he likes to play with all his kids and grandkids, and a way of playing. So Linda's her way is just like they put invisible ink on paper and whatnot, and so give a little heat and that warms it up, and she sees it. And this is actually a detail I never noticed until we just rewatched it. But then it cuts back to Marta, her in the house, and she comes out on the balcony looking at everyone, and we see Richard, and he's got a nice, beautiful black eye.
So like in between the time from this scene, she socked him in the face.
Which, do you blame her?
Well, it's just like, listen, girl, I had no sympathy for you, but thank you so much. We kind of hated your husband a little more than you, so thank you for that.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, so I mean, that was unfortunately Jamie Lee Curtis's character. I think that was the only likable thing she did that whole like 2-hour runtime,
and that's the only likable thing any of those parts of the family did.
Here's the thing. We also got to give credit to one more thing that Ramsey did. Before the will reading, when he just
It's Ransom.
Ransom?
Yeah, not Ramsey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But what does he do?
When he just insults the entire family.
Yeah.
He did plenty of likable things, which is why he's a great antagonist. But the rest of them, Jamie Lee Curtis is the only one that did anything redeemable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least at the very end, she kind of felt sad that he's not there anymore, but like she was more focused on the money, but at least she showed maybe a slight little bit that she missed him. But everybody else is just like, nah, where's the cash? You know, like
yep.
Even Meg is just
dude,
just terrible.
The other thing that I love is how they all go off on the guy who read the will.
Yes,
like it's somehow it's his fault.
Yeah,
he's just reading what their father wrote.
I just remember my favorite scenes when it's at night and he's still there and his assistant's in the back asleep, and they're just like, and then we're just like, Benoit Blanc, and then they just turn their attention to Benoit Blanc saying, "We don't need you here anymore," and they're just like, "Thank God!" And then he just get out of Dodge.
He is an underrated character.
Yeah,
even though he doesn't have much screen time, but his place in the story is so memorable.
Every single character in this story, no matter how small, has a great moment. Like I've never seen a movie with this fleshed out of characters.
And also, let's take for instance, Marta's sister. She literally, I think, has only 2 scenes, but the funniest scene is after the will reading. Marta's at home asleep, and then it just cuts to her breaking into her room. It's like, "Are we rich?"
Yes.
It's so funny.
Every single character.
Stupid. It's so ridiculous.
I love it.
Funny.
Well, it's like, let's be real though. If you had an older sibling and you find out your sibling inherited all that cash, of course you're gonna be like, "Are we rich?
Are we rich?"
Yeah, like that was funny. But like one of my favorite moments was when, okay, guys, you're gonna help me out, but like it's during they're going off on the will reader again. One of the family members goes, "Whatever your name is, you're beeping useless," or something. Like, and he's just like, thank you. You know, like,
just like,
what else is he gonna say?
Like what's he gonna say? He's just like, "I'm just here to read the will. I didn't have anything to do with this.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't meet with his lawyer. I didn't change the will. I'm just here to read what's in the will."
They should just be glad it wasn't Aidan that was reading the will. He'd enjoy it too much.
Oh my, like Aidan. I'm just imagining if he was the will reader, I would love to know his comeback.
Sorry, that's for too much chaos, not enough.
I was gonna say we wouldn't be able to cover this if he was the actor.
Like, can you imagine if he was the will reader? Can you imagine the insults he would have given all the?
Oh, it would have been so glorious.
Yeah,
we would have to talk about it on the other podcast.
Yeah, no, that one's for too much chaos, not enough film.
We'll just ask, okay, Aidan, you're the will reader. What would you say to this character or something? You know, it's just it's just 5 minutes of just the bleep sound effect. It's just like,
so it's Happy Gilmore when he misses a punt.
Yes.
Yeah, literally. Oh my gosh. Now here's the other big question, though, guys. We hold this film in such high praise.
We got one more character we still need.
Oh no, one more? Okay,
yeah,
hold the brakes. Go.
We have to talk about Daniel Craig's Benoit.
I can't believe we haven't talked about him yet.
Yeah, I know,
yeah, and he's one of the main leads in this.
Yes,
like,
okay, so here's the thing. So as we tell you this name, Benoit Blanc, you would be right to believe that he is French. This man is from Kentucky and has the most dramatic Kentucky drawl.
You want to hear my impersonation of him?
do it?
I do declare this. I smell a mystery. He's literally that detective.
Like he's just like, yes, I do suspect foul play.
Yeah,
Like, it's
and
just,
I just
no,
like
it's just like you see Daniel Craig, you hear his name first, so you're just like, oh, you're expecting a very sophisticated man. Then he starts speaking, and you're just like, oh my god, that is not what I expected, and it works.
it works.
We said earlier that this is a satirical mystery. He is the entirety of the satirical part. Every other part of it is like a legitimate mystery
and also,
except him.
And also the house. Like, they literally make the joke that they live in a clue house, like the way the layout is, the fact that it has a false window.
That's true. It's like a Westingate type of situation.
Like, they literally say, like, I believe they literally say Harlan lives in a clue house.
Yeah, I just love that so much.
Yeah, but it's just like, so the house and Benoit Blanc are the reason this film is satire, but it is absolutely amazing.
Well, like, I'll never forget, opening up this movie, like, the very first shot we see of the mansion, like, Preston made the joke, I feel like we're watching the intro to Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like, with the atmosphere, like, there's fog all around it, and it's all dark colors.
Yep,
and
it's a gray, gloomy day.
Yeah, it's just like, did we put Addams Family in on accident? Like,
Nope,
it feels
we were
like
playing-
it. Like,
yeah, Preston and I are just in there. Nope, we're playing Knives Out.
yeah, I just thought that was so funny, and it's just like, when Craig's character is introduced, Preston, I'll never forget, didn't you say something like, oh my gosh, his accent's so over the top, I love it, or something,
Yes.
or something.
Well, how
like,
can you not?
how can
love
you
this
not? Yeah.
accent? It's just, it's so out there, and I love it.
You know, this was my third Daniel Craig film to watch. Other than this, I've only seen him in the first two Bond movies. I haven't seen him in anything else.
The only other things I've seen him in personally that I can think of off the top of my head was on top of that Skyfall and the 2010 version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that movie.
You need to see Skyfall too, my friend.
Yeah, we are sitting you through that one.
Yeah, like, I definitely want to see
List.
Skyfall. I heard Spectre was kind of and No Time to Die. I mean, I haven't heard any comments yet from anyone, so.
He was in Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes,
I
I
forgot
forgot
about that.
about
That's
I
a
haven't
good
seen
movie.
that one,
That's a
but
good
that's
movie.
good.
It's a film you're gonna watch to have a good time. You
Yeah.
are not expecting a
Okay,
good
I
movie.
take it back. This is my fourth movie. I watched Cowboys and Aliens growing up. That is
Yeah.
a fantastic movie. It's
That I think is one we have to cover.
like, yeah,
Just
dude.
looking at his list. Wait. Oh, he's in the Young Indiana Jones thing.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he was an
Young Indiana Jones.
yeah, he was an archaeologist in one of the episodes.
As I said, I beg your pardon.
yeah,
Which, from what I understand, I've heard that's a pretty terrible show.
I don't know. I haven't
Considering
seen
I've never
anything
even
from
heard-
it.
Considering that is the first time I've ever even heard of it.
I've
Well-
seen a couple episodes, but it's been a long
Well,
time.
when I was a kid, I had the original Indiana Jones trilogy all on VHS. Now, these are all original 80s VHS tapes. They had
That are somehow still alive.
they were great. Every
Despite
single
him watching them to death, they haven't
Yeah.
been run thin.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hadn't killed it somehow.
I watched all three of them to death. I was surprised they still worked, but like, in Last Crusade, you saw an old late '80s Pepsi commercial, which is pretty cool, by the way. And after that, you would see a trailer for the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles show.
Oh, that is awesome.
And so I knew that the show existed. Unfortunately, it was canceled, I think, after only 2 seasons.
Which just tells you that it's bad.
Look, there is
but
only
who
one
knows?
Indiana Jones.
And that's but Harrison Ford actually makes an appearance in one of the episodes.
Do they put time travel in this
No,
thing?
they didn't. They didn't. There is an episode that takes place in present day in like the early 50s. It came out in 1994, and George Lucas was involved with it. Harrison Ford had a beard because they filmed that episode the same time they were filming The Fugitive, and he couldn't shave, so he had to keep the
Yeah,
beard.
he couldn't shave for The Fugitive until they at least got all the scenes they needed from when
Yeah.
he had his beard.
Yeah, so if you want to see Indiana Jones with a beard, watch The Young Chronicles. I don't know what specific episode he did, but
Who knows? Who cares?
But yeah, Cowboys and Aliens, I love that movie. Like, you have Daniel Craig and Harrison freaking Ford as your lead. Like, come on.
Who knows?
Like,
Like,
you know what I mean?
I don't even remember the plot other than it has something to do with Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember the rest of the plot, but
it's goofy as heck. But that's the charm about it to,
yeah,
to
like
me.
I just
like,
remember. Yeah, this is not something you're gonna watch just expecting a great drama with a title like that.
Yeah, yeah, but. Now now have we covered all the characters now?
Yes.
Okay, so the question I was going to ask you guys, I like to ask this sometimes, because all of us have taken classes around like film writing and everything. Would you change anything in this picture? Was there like any low points you're like okay, I think that could have been written better?
Like for me, there are a good amount of scenes that I would have shot differently personally. Like script writing, no, but cinematography, lighting wise, there are a couple things I would have changed. But like it's kind of hard to go into detail without like having visuals and what.
Oh, like visuals to like show you.
Yeah, like to have the scene pulled up. And then point out, just like I would move the camera here, move the lights here, change the temperature and whatnot. Yeah, so
this is one of the very few movies that I would say I wouldn't change anything, but I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I'd give it a 9.5. Like it is right there.
I think I would give it the same rating, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely between a 9 and 9.5.
That's only because there's a couple things that are kind of far-fetched. It's like you're kind of stretching it there with the plot.
Like
how
other
so?
than that-
One scene that I also think was really stretched was Fran's talking to Marta when Marta finds her.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest stretch. So evidently, Ranson's real name is Hugh. And they make it so that Fran, when Marta finds her, she says, "You did this," but it actually said, "Hugh did this."
And I'm like,
yeah, no, that was very much stretching the plot. Like, I get that, like, maybe in the moment, yeah, she wouldn't understand, but the fact that, like, you literally have to write in a different name other than, like, everyone calls him Ransom, but the staff, the help, the people that work in the mansion call him Hugh.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that was like a stretch. Like it's small things like that. It's not something that's gonna break the film, but stuff that holds it back from from a complete masterpiece.
And that just tells you how truly amazing our masterpieces we've raved about
here's the
are.
thing, like it's hard to make a perfect masterpiece because, at least in our minds, because it's something that there is absolutely not a single thing we would change about it.
Let's list the films we have listed that have been masterpieces.
I think on this, all we've done, at least from the top of my head, was Arrival and Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, those are the only two that we've given like an A+
how many
on. Like,
film episodes have we done on this? So
like
no,
at
those
least
are the only two we've given a 10 out of 10 on, actually.
Yeah, and we've done at least like a dozen reviews at this
Like,
point.
At least
like,
a dozen,
at
yeah.
least.
So,
But a 9.5 is really good.
That's nothing to be
here's how
ashamed about.
Like, I don't know if I said this, but here's personally how I feel like we rate this. 10 is masterpiece. Anywhere in the 9 is amazing. 8 is great. 7's good. 6 above average. 5 average. 4 below average. 3 bad. 2 terrible. 1 borderline unwatchable.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. And I don't think we're ever going to hit that point. I don't think we're with the movies that we cover most of the time.
On this channel, no, we're not going low.
Like we'll be lucky to hit
on
7.
the other one we may.
If we do
We may.
Tales on Too Much Chaos Not in a Film, yeah, we're gonna go that low.
Whether Chris likes it or not.
We are
Yeah.
Even
gonna
if
sit
we,
you through
Aiden
some-
and I, need to do it on our own one night.
Yeah, we will kick you out one night. We'll record it ourselves just to get some of the bad movies that Preston and I have seen. If you don't want to sit through them,
No, yeah,
But we'll try
have
to make him sit through them.
We'll have to see and wait what happens. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Will they convince me to watch very horrible films? I don't know.
We got to get him to watch The Room, for God's sake.
You need. I don't care if you don't do another review on that channel ever. You have to see The Room.
You will do The Room. That is.
Oh
one that
man,
is, that
I don't
is-
know. I don't know if I could physically finish.
No,
You
that,
can.
know.
I will handcuff you to the chair.
You
I
can.
swear to God.
If you really set your mind to it, you could.
Like,
and you'd have fun doing
Like
it.
guys, we had to, like our teacher Drew showed us one scene in production 3 showing all of what
I don't
not to
care.
do. We were
Yeah,
literally
dude,
within the first
that- literally
minute.
The Room is the exact embodiment of what not to do.
So why wouldn't we talk about it?
Exactly. especially for Too Much Chaos Not in a Film.
Like, we had to watch a scene where, like, him and this buddy goes into, like, a restaurant, and the ADR is not matching their lips at all. It's
know.
so bad,
That's
man.
the
Like,
point. Anyway, okay,
yeah,
we're
I'm
going to
sorry,
debate
but-
this more off
Yeah,
camera, but I think that's probably a wrap up.
Yeah, but, like, for real, though, if you have not seen Knives Out, a fantastic film, and you don't have to think too hard on this one. You can sit back and just enjoy it.
That's also a good thing about the mystery. Like, it rewards the people who pay attention, as they can honestly come to a good conclusion of the end. Like, the thing is, it leaves the one key detail completely out of reach. Like, they do make it so that there's someone else involved, but the key detail in that Ramsey was the one that the meds were switched beforehand, before Marta made the mix-up and switched them back. Outside of that detail, it gives you just about everything you need to figure out who's involved. But it's genuinely a great movie and a great mystery and a great satire, all bundled up in one.
And here's something I haven't gotten a chance to say yet. I want to give a huge applause to Chris Evans, because like, this movie to me showed me he had more range than just being Captain America.
Yes, like that was a big thing. Like I'm gonna just go short thing on with Marvel. Like, the hardest thing with Marvel nowadays is, because it's so big, actors who make it big because of the Marvel films, like Chris Evans. Like, to be honest, I don't know much of Chris Evans' film log prior to Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah, like his career didn't really his career skyrocketed after First Avenger.
Yeah, but so it's just like, it's hard to see a lot of those actors as anything other than their Marvel characters, and that's the thing that I loved about him in this film, is that it was completely different. He is almost the exact opposite of Captain America in every way.
Yeah, and I thought it was physically impossible for him to play an unlikable character, but here we are, and he somehow did it. Like, I never thought a million years that I'd ever see him play a villain in something and be good. Like, I never thought, because I knew he had a good actor, right? But just this movie, I was just like, I had no idea he had that range, like ever.
Just being able to pull off a character like that.
Like that, yeah, exactly. And her performance that really blew me away was Ana de Armas. Like,
yes,
her portrayal in this, like, honestly, I'm just a huge fan of her in general. I loved her in Blade Runner, and I can't think. I think I might have seen her in something else, but
the rest of her film
I think she's an amazing actress, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I have a crush on her. Like, she is
you
amazing.
simp over everyone.
I'm not ashamed, bro. I regret nothing.
Okay. Oh, she was in No Time to Die.
Yeah, which I had not
Dogs.
seen. War Dogs, I know about that one.
Yeah.
She also did Blonde just recently on Netflix, where she played Mary Monroe, which I'm hearing she may or may not get Golden Globe and Oscar nominations for.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen it personally, but I heard that she knocked it out of the park with her performance.
yeah, I still haven't. I haven't seen that. Like, I've got a lot of films that I'm catching up on over Christmas break.
Yeah, me too. Well, me, it's more like TV show watching. But I will try to see if I can sneak a movie in there. But
dude, we have 3 weeks. You can sneak a couple movies in there.
Well, yeah, theoretically, like kind of like 4 in a way, but 3 or 4. But yeah, there's a lot of time for you to watch stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved this movie, and I'm glad that we finally got a chance to cover this. And I had a good time watching it. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me watch another amazing picture.
Like Preston are saying, trust our judgment when it comes to movies.
When are you going to get that through your head?
So make sure next time they recommend something to say no immediately and not give it a chance.
We are
Christian
taking applications
suddenly-
for a new anchor for a new host on this show.
If DJ Apollo is suddenly not here anymore, it wasn't us.
It wasn't us.
was
We had
Chris
nothing to
Evans.
do with it.
It was Chris Evans.
You know what I'm imagining right now? It's like that time back in 2013 when Matt Damon took over the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Except if we do it, it's going to be permanent.
Like
This has been Knives Out.
You're gonna duct tape me to like a roller chair. You're just gonna hear me in the background, and you're just like, ignore that. Anyway, today we're covering, just like you're gonna take over the show or something. That's what I'm imagining you two doing somewhere down the line. Am I wrong?
Maybe not.
I do not recall.
Oh boy. But yeah, hey, I love doing this show. I hope you enjoyed this recording. Like always, I have a blast doing this, and I want to thank you guys for being back on again. And what's crazy is This is the last session we're doing before we head out for the semester. So I had a brilliant first semester here at Eastern Illinois University. I've done 35 episodes in one semester. I feel pretty good about that, honestly.
Hey, this show, it's good to have a passion for this show, man.
Yeah, my passion, I'm in, man. I am in with this show. I love it so much. I mean, I reviewed way more. I reviewed a ton of stuff that I wasn't even originally planning on. Just kind of happened.
When he started this, he had a full list of everything he wanted. The second Preston and I start getting invited on the show, out the window.
That list was gone. I don't think I even got halfway through the list before we just went off the track.
Let's see, the first episode, Blade Runner 2049, that you invited me and Preston on. The second we did that and we started just really realizing we connect for the show, your list got thrown out the window. We're just like, we should cover this.
Yeah, and it works. And I'm very excited to see what the three of us will cover next semester. It's going to be nothing but more like masterpiece and good 8 or 9s out of 10s, I think.
Maybe an occasional 6.
An occasional 6 or 7. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah.
Maybe even a 4.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. On this show, can we get to that low?
Yes.
But
with or without you.
Yeah, but a final note before we leave you with this episode. We have officially launched our second podcast. We mentioned it a few times. Too Much Chaos, Not Enough Film. We currently have 2 episodes up, but we'll get some more episodes in the works soon, and hopefully next year we'll be uploading regularly both the Tales of Music and Film and Too Much Chaos, Not Enough Film.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we have that secondary show out, which is pretty cool, but which was not planned as well. It was just it was an idea that Aidan had for a while, and I'm like, let's go through with this, let's see where it goes.
It's my child.
Yeah, it's awesome. And when I graduate,
So here's the thing. In that one, it's definitely me A, Preston B, Christian C.
Yeah.
It was my brainchild. Preston named it.
Yeah.
And then Chris is here.
And I'm just here. I'm just happy to be here.
I don't know if he's happy though.
I don't know. Yeah, I have a fake smile going on right now.
Like we said, if he mysteriously disappears, Chris Evans did it.
Yeah, it was Chris Evans. Dude, I don't know. Kidnapped by legendary Chris Evans. Is that something to be mad about?
Depends on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to wrap it up right now.
Seriously, let's end this now. We're going into a spiral here. But for real though, if you happen to be listening to this down the road around December, Merry Christmas to you guys, and I wish you an amazing break.
Yep, and we look forward to coming back on this podcast next year.
All right, so until next time, this is DJ Apollo along with
Aidan
and Preston,
and you're listening to the Tales of Music and Film.